Madonna on the red carpet this week in Cannes. Hear her new music. The Beat Goes On seems to be as good a theme song as any as she launches her new documentary and her new album. On the balcony of her very glamorous suite in this very glamorous city, we talk about her very glamorous husband, director Guy Ritchie. Did Guy give you any advice in coming to the concert? This is the second time you've been here.
Okay, I'm showing him the town, all right?
All right.
Okay.
You're tough. You're tough.
I'm hard.
Hard, a reference to her new album, Hard Candy, which debuted at #1 in 37 countries. You beat Elvis's record. More songs in the top 10 than even Elvis.
Yeah. Well, that's a good record to beat.
Not only that, but her new single, 4 Minutes with Justin Timberlake, has become a YouTube sensation with tens of millions of hits already. How did that song come about?
That song came about because we were trying to write a song that had some kind of social consciousness, but that was also fun. And his manager or somebody that runs his record label was in the room with us, and he said, Justin, you can't save the world in 4 minutes. And we were like, bingo.
The video may have social conscience. It also has some very steamy moments between Madonna and Timberlake, who was 3 years old when she had her first hit. What's he like? I mean, was it
Justin?
Yeah. Is it sexy in the moment? Is it?
He's got a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep. Not gonna lie.
Well, you certainly feel it in the video.
Oh, good. Well, we only have 4 minutes to save the world.
How did the song?
Naturally.
Does it a certain level?
We only have 4 minutes to have chemistry with one another.
Madonna seems confident, working not only with Timberlake, but Timbaland, and a galaxy of other hot hit makers, including Kanye West and Pharrell Williams. Divas in their own right.
We all had our hiccup moments where we sort of jockeyed for a position and we tried to get to know each other because songwriting is a very intimate experience.
She confides that she and rapper-producer Pharrell Williams hit a rough spot.
He actually made me cry, if you want to know the truth.
Pharrell
I've
did?
never told that to anybody. There, it's out. Headlines.
Boo-hoo cry or just like a little tear coming down?
No, well, you know when you get angry with someone and like you start spitting snot?
Oh, the ugly cry. Oh,
well, I wasn't that ugly.
Not the ugly cry.
No, you know what? I think it just, I was in a sensitive mood. I was singing in the studio, and I didn't understand the rhythm that he wanted me to sing in, and he was kind of giving me a hard time. And I was sort of taken back by the way he was talking to me. So I walked out into the thing. I said, you know what? We need to talk. So we went upstairs, and I'm like, you can't talk to me that way. And then I just burst into tears. And then he's like, oh my God, Madonna has a heart. And I was like, what? And I started crying even more. And then we had it out, and now I love him, and we make great music together. But I think we had to go through that.
Like the title song, Candy Shop. But even a woman who looks like she does in the May issue of Vanity Fair has insecurities. Well, here we are.
Don't show my big fat thighs, whatever you do.
Hold it. You did not just say big fat thighs.
I did, yeah.
All right. They're perfect.
My big Italian thighs. I'm very proud of them. Yes. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. All right. I cannot pick up an article about you without a reference to the upcoming birthday. Mm-hmm. And it started to make me wonder. Yeah. Well,
everyone brings it up in every interview.
Mick Jagger is 64. Stevie Wonder is 58. Billy Joel is 59. David Bowie is 61. I guess my point is, nobody makes a big deal out of it when guys are rocking after a certain age.
Well, not just rocking, I think doing anything. I think we live in a sort of not only a sexist society, but an ageist society, but connected to women.
So what about that 50th birthday? Does it annoy, as you no doubt know, Gloria Steinem once when someone was saying, oh, you look so great for 50, says this is what 50 looks like. Does it?
Yeah, you, I'm 50. That's what I'm going to say when I turn 50. Sorry. Bleep.
The birthday is in August. The next week, she goes on tour. I read somewhere that you said touring is great, the first 2 weeks or the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, beginning and ending. It's kind of like a relationship.
It is.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's fabulous.
It's like
and when
that
you know
piece
it's
of gum when you first put it in your mouth, it's so good. And then you spit it out, you're so relieved to get rid of it because it's killing your jaw.
That was a very good analogy. That's true.
I'm sorry, maybe I'll get my own talk show.
Look at her! Right now, she doesn't need the work.
Okay, I'm gonna take my big fat thighs out of here.
When we come back, how did the material girl end up in one of the poorest nations on earth, adopting a child and making a film? Far above the sidewalk, leaning over the top balcony of the famed Carlton Hotel in Cannes, Madonna decides to check out the action below.
Here we are in the south of France. It's so beautiful. Come on, Cynthia, join me. There's a disco downstairs.
Look at this! Don't you want to do something thrilling? What could you
What,
like?
jump off the balcony?
Madonna jumps under grilling by Cynthia
I
McFadden.
am going to do something thrilling. I'm going to show my film tomorrow at the Cannes Film Festival. That's thrilling.
The film, I Am Because We Are, is a solemn documentary about the 1 million AIDS orphans in Malawi.
She said, "You're a person with resources."
She says it all began with a phone call from a woman she didn't know, Victoria Keelan, who does humanitarian work in Malawi.
I told her I didn't know where Malawi was. She told me to look it up on a map. And then she hung up on me.
So when that phone went down, did you know right there and then you were going to do something?
Well, I immediately looked up where Malawi was because, you know, being a person that likes to think I know everything, I was a little bit irritated with myself for not knowing where it was. So I did, and then I started the conversations with my husband, and then I basically started thinking about what it is I could do to make a difference in their lives, and I knew I had to go there first to see what was going on.
So, in April of 2006, Madonna headed to the tiny African country, one of the poorest in the world. With her was a young man who had worked as her gardener and babysitter. Surprisingly, she would make him the director of her film.
Well, it's not good to think in a limited way. After all, I used to be the jelly squirter at Dunkin' Donuts. So, who would have thunk it?
The film they made together is a sweeping look at a country where children are raising other children. Children like Finizzo.
Takonori ngati nikoteka matini pemphe kuti mutani machibwetsako chithandizo pafupipafupi kuti samakhale otani okumbukira za mmene makolo athu anatisiyira.
Are there moments when you look at the film that still...
I still cry. Yeah, I do.
It is not just the pain which is palpable in this film. There is also the joy.
I often feel like we're the ones that have it wrong. In spite of all the hardships and devastation, they have a sense of community and extended family that I haven't seen anywhere else.
Tell me what you mean.
You know, I went to Malawi thinking, oh, I'm going to save these people. I'm going to, build orphan care centers, and I'm going to, come to their rescue, and I'm going to do what I should be doing, which is sharing my experience, sharing my wealth, sharing what I have with people who don't. Actually, in many ways, I don't, and we don't, because I don't have that joy, and I don't have that kind of appreciation. I do in moments, but not on a regular basis.
So where does that come from?
I think that comes from really living in the moment without a lot of distractions, which we have so many of, and not knowing if the next day is going to come. I think complaining, feeling sorry for yourself, being bored, those are luxuries that people in Malawi can't afford.
Which brings us to another joyous, painful subject, David, her foster son from Malawi, who she is intent on adopting. Seen in the documentary as a tiny baby being carried by a young girl called Wheezy.
When I first met Wazy, she was responsible for looking after 3 infants. This is one of the children she looked after. His name is David.
The first time that I saw him, she was carrying him. And that's kind of when I got when it all racked focus for me, like, oh my God, she's 8. and she's taking care of a 6-month-old child, and so first I was drawn to her, and like, where does she get her strength from? And then I was drawn to him, and I started carrying him around for her, and then I came back the next time, and that's when he was ill, and that's when I really knew that I had a connection to him.
So what do you do at that point? Do you call home and say, honey, guess what?
Well, the second time Guy was with me, so he experienced his magic as well. Yeah.
So you didn't have to do any persuading?
No, not that time, no.
Because it's all been portrayed very much as your journey alone. I mean,
Yeah.
David has 2 parents.
Yeah, he does. But, men, they always take a little bit longer to catch up, don't they?
In my experience.
Back me up here.
I gotta tell you. I mean,
I'm pretty sure I had to drag my husband to the altar, so, yeah, catch up.
How's that working out, by the way? Is he coming to Cannes here?
I think he's in a bar somewhere. While I'm working, he's playing.
Joking aside, David's adoption was supposed to be finalized last month, then last week, then yesterday, but has been repeatedly postponed by the Malawi court. It is not easy to adopt, and yet there are a million.
It's insane. Don't get me started. It drives me bonkers.
There are those within Malawi who say, we don't want to have international adoptions. We're afraid that the children will be molested, abused, trafficked.
Oh dear. Well, not in my house, first of all, and they're being abused and molested there because they don't have any guidance or adult supervision. A lot of them live on the streets. I mean, we're not talking about the children who are being looked after, we're talking about the children who aren't. And over 1 million orphans, that's kind of a state of emergency. So I don't think, there's any room for criticism.
But still, they wait.
I promise you, if the government didn't make it so difficult, I would have brought, a whole truckload of them home with me. And I hope through this film that people will be inspired to do the same.
Do you experience God in Malawi?
Oh yeah. I mean, wherever you feel compassion and the connection to another human being, you're experiencing God. So, yeah. I hope I experience it in Cannes as well.
And there we are, bumped up against the extremes, a place Madonna has always seemed to thrive.
There's something beautiful about it because on the one hand you could say that Cannes represents superficiality, but so let's bring some reality into it. And there's a lot of people here that I think would like to feel inspired about more than the gown they're wearing or the famous person they're sitting next to.
When we talked Tuesday, the film's debut the next night was very much on her mind. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Why?
Because I want to make a difference and I want people to like the movie and feel moved by it. Yeah.
So as you walk down that red carpet, as we see you with those thousands of light bulbs going off, you'll be thinking,
I hope they like it. Yeah, yeah.